Yeah, using for loop, I said how to. Yeah, yesterday we have seen how to read the data from series, and in that we have seen different approaches. I said about using for loop.
ଏକାଥରେ 4 ଗୁଣ କି 10 ଗୁଣ କି 15 ଗୁଣ ଡାଇରେକ୍ଟ ନମ୍ବରରେ କନଭର୍ଟ ହେଇପାରିବ। ହଁ ଏପଟେ ଏପଟେ 4 ଗୁଣିବୁ ସେପଟେ ବି 4 ଗୁଣିବୁ। ଦେଖେ 1:1/4 ଥିଲା, ଆମେ ତାକୁ ନମ୍ବରରେ କନଭର୍ଟ କରିବା, ତାହେଲେ 1 ରେ 4 ଗୁଣିଲେ 4, ବାଁ ପଟ କଥା କହୁଛି। ତାପରେ 1/4 ରେ 4 ଗୁଣିଲେ କଣ ହବ? ହରରେ ଅଛି, ଏପଟେ ହଉଛି 4, ଉପରେ ଲବରେ ଅଛି, ତାହେଲେ କଟିଯିବ। ବୁଝିପାରୁଛୁ ନା ନାଇଁ? ନା ଲାଉଥରେ କହିବି?
So using for loop, what you have done? So I said for loop can iterate values from the series object. And after that, I said, how can you read the data based on the condition? We try to use two functions here. One is where, and after that, I said about between, right? So between that returns the Boolean values, and that so that Boolean values can be used as a mask here and get the values. So that is what reading values from the series using Boolean values, and this is called as a masking here. Now you are trying to do this. And after that, yes, sir. So after that, next we'll talk about. So that is how can you handle the missing values? So this is handling missing values. So this is called as a pre-processing. In data analysis, so this particular step is called as a pre-processing. In data analysis, so what you are trying to do is, the first step is loading the data. So what is the first step is loading the data. And second step is pre-processing the data. Okay, pre-processing the data. Yes, but how that pre-processing is done? Pre-processing is nothing but handling which values here? Missing values. So handling missing values consists of a lot of things here. So handling missing values consists of a lot of things. So what are the things you do it? So in data analysis, okay, after loading the data, after loading the data, so it has to be, okay, after loading the data, this is what I said, the basic steps in data analysis. So this is what we have seen. So these are the basic steps here. It's nothing but data cleaning and what is that? Data pre-processing. So data cleaning or data pre-processing, it consists of some certain things like handling missing data, okay, like removing duplicate rows or columns, renaming columns and rows, and changing data types of columns, and data normalization and what scaling. All these are done as a part of which one? Second step. So after loading the data, so data pre-processing is done. After loading the data, okay, so data pre-processing is done. So data pre-processing consists of data pre-processing. Okay, data pre-processing consists of. So what it consists of all this? So this is called as handling the missing values. Second one is removing duplicate rows. And third one is renaming columns and rows. Fourth one is changing the data types of the columns. And fifth one is data normalization or scaling. So data interpolating is nothing but replacing. Data interpolating is nothing but replacing the values, removing the values, filling the values. Removing the values, and one more is filling the values. Removing the values. Okay, so is done by using these approaches.
ହ୍ୟାଲୋ କର ତୁ ଆଉ ଲାଷ୍ଟକୁ ଆନ୍ସର କହିବୁ ଆଉ
Okay, right? Yes. So first we'll see in this, first we'll see handling the missing data. First we'll see handling missing data. Handling the missing data. So what is the meaning of this missing data? So missing data is represented. So missing data is represented using, okay, three values. Missing data is represented using three values. One is NONE, that is none. And second one is NAN. Second one is what here? NAN. And third one is NA. So missing data is represented using three values. Missing data is represented using three values. One is NONE
ହଁ
and second one is NAN and third one is NA. For example, when you are working with a Python, suppose you are creating a dictionary. For example, when you are working with a Python, assume that you are working with a dictionary. So dictionary you are creating, suppose, where you represent some employees data. Okay, you are creating dictionary where you are representing whose data, employees data. Assume that there is an employee number. I know the employee number, I'll say 1. Suppose employee name. I know the employee name, I define the employee name. I don't know the job. Then how you define the job? By using what here? None. How you define the job? By using none. I don't know the salary. Then how you define the salary? By using none. But you don't write 0. If you write 0, 0 is one value. That means salary of this employee is 0. But none means this indicates that this value is what here missing. Or this value is not defined. This value is missing or this value is not defined. But how you are writing that? By using one keyword called which one? None. It is done by using one keyword called none. Now if you see print EMP, so this is how you represent missing values. In the same way, when you are loading data from Excel or when you are loading data from database, suppose You are working with a database like Oracle. Okay, you are working with database like what is that, Oracle. So what will happen? Suppose, for example, okay, suppose this is the employee table. So the employee is having number, name, okay, then salary and job. Okay, these are the columns which are there in which table? Employee table. Getting on. So you may have a null column. Okay, suppose employee number, you give employee name and you give the salary, and suppose assume that you don't know the job, then what is the value of job will be null. What is the job value will be null. Okay, null is the value of job. So what will happen if I load this into series? Suppose if I load this job column into the series, then job column is loaded. I mean, this job values are loaded into the series. But how this null is represented as a NA? So NA means what here? NA means what here? Missing value. Null values are what here? Missing values. Null values are what? Missing values. No value. 0 means one value. Okay, 0 means one value, 1 means one value, and 2 means one value. But if you don't write anything, it means that values there are not there, not there. So such kind of values you call it as what? Missing values. And when you are working with the data analysis, you cannot do analysis on missing values. A name is not available. A name is not available. It means that value is missing. Then this missing values has to be handled, because without handling this missing values, you cannot perform the operation on what? Data. Either you have to replace the values, either you have to delete the values, or you have to replace these values by using some statistical values. Then only you can perform what? Operations. Otherwise, you cannot perform any operations. Then this missing data is handled by using various functions provided by pandas. So these missing values, okay, these missing values are handled. This missing data or missing values are handled. Missing data or values are handled using various functions, using various functions provided by various functions provided by pandas. And this is applicable for all. It is not only for series, it is also applicable for the data structure called data frame. Even in data frame also you handle this missing values by using the same approach. In data frame also you handle this missing values by using same approach. So here you can handle the missing values by using various functions. You have a various functions, like suppose there is a function called is, you have a function called is null. There is a function called is null. There is a function called not null. Okay, there is a function called drop NA. There is a function called drop NA, and there is a function called fill NA. So these are the various functions or methods provided by which one? Pandas, for handling missing data. For handling missing data. See, I'm talking about first approach. What is the first one is missing data. Second, we'll talk about this renaming row, removing duplicate rows and what? Columns. Third one will see renaming columns and what? Rows. And fourth one will see changing the data types of what? Columns. So lot of functions are there. Lot of functions are there for data pre-processing. This is called as data. This step is called as data pre-processing. This step is called as a data pre-processing. This is called as a data pre-processing. Yeah, not null. So first of all is, we'll try to say is null. So actually it is a method of series, or it is a method of data frame. It is a method of series, or it is a method of data frame. What is the name of the method is null. So what is this returns is, this method returns, okay, this method returns, what it returns here? Boolean value. This method returns Boolean value, and what is that Boolean value is? It returns either true or false. It returns the true or false. So that is a method called is null.
ମାଛ ଖାଇବିନି।
So when it returns a true or false, if if series contains,
ଆଇଁଷ
if
ଖାଇବିନି
series
କହିଲି।
contain,
ନା
if series contains missing values, if series or data frame, anything, if series contain missing values, it returns true. It returns true. Else returns, okay, else returns what here? False. So this is how you identify, is it your series is having any missing values or not. That is done by using one method called which one? Is null. For example, see here. For example, okay, for example, so why we open this? So open the Google Colab, right? Hmm. So here, so what I'm doing is, so I'm trying to create a data frame. I'm trying to create a I'm trying to create a series by saying S1 equal to pandas dot series. Okay, I'm creating a series by using what here? List. So here I created list. Okay, I created series with how many values here? 5 values. This represent one column. This represent what here? One column. This represent one column. Okay, now you can see this is a series which contain one. How many values are there in series? 5 values. Now if I'm trying to write print s1 dot, I'm writing s1 dot. So what is the name of the method is null. I'm using a method called is null. Now what is the value it is written? False. Means is it any values are missing? No. So all this value, now 10 is a missing value. No. What is the value written here? False. Okay, 20 is a missing value. No. What is the value it is written? False. Carrying on. So if series contain any missing value, then that value is written as what? True. Okay, you assign this. You assign this to another variable by saying s1 dot is null. S1 dot is null, and I'm saying print s2. Now when you print s2, what is the values are written here? False. And it is written one more series with the values what here? False. So what will happen now? This can be used as a masking or not? Yes. You can get all the values except which values? Missing values. Okay, suppose Here I can write S3. I want to get all the values except which values? Missing values. Then I can use this series as a mask. Is it all the values are available or not? Yes. Is it all the values are available or not? Yes. There is no missing values. Then it returns all the values. See here, it is written all the values. S3. So all are false, right? False means, is it written any values or no values? No values. If any value is missing, then it returns those. It is written true. But is it written this as a false or not? Yes. If it is written false, when you are using this as a masking, it means false means values available or not available. Now in this case, it is available. In this case, it is what? Available. If it is written true, that indicates it is available or not available? Not available. Okay, right? So if you are using it as a masking, now it is written empty series. It is empty series, okay, because for which it returns the values are true, it returns those values. Otherwise, it returns what? That value is not returned. That is what we have seen in the yesterday's class, right? But is null, what it will do is it returns true if the value is not available. Otherwise, it returns false. So let me create another series by saying pandas dot series. Pandas dot series. I'm saying 10 comma 20 comma. Okay, I'm writing here none comma 30 comma. I'm writing here np dot. Okay, np dot. I need to import numpy. So np dot. I'm using here np dot nan. np dot nan. np dot. What is the value I'm giving? Nan. So there is a value called nan, comma, pandas dot. What is the value is na. Pandas dot na. So in this, some values are missing, right? So third value is missing, and fifth value is missing, and sixth value is also what? Missing, right? Now if I'm trying to print S3, now this S3 is a series, and this series contain how many values here? Yes, NaN, small letters, sir. Okay, run this. Now here this value is missing here. Now that is a 10, 20, none, 30, NaN, and Na. Now I want to find the missing values. Then I'm creating another series. S4 equal to pandas dot series. Panda S3 dot. I'm writing S3 dot is null. S3 dot is null. S3 dot is null. I'm trying to print S4. What S4 contain? S4 is a series which contain Boolean values. See here, it is contain Boolean values. And what is the first value is false. What is the second value is false. What is the third value is true. What is the fourth value is false. What is the fifth value is true, and what is the sixth value is true. Because what is the values you have? See here. Now this is my series. Okay, this is a series, and this series contain first value is a 10, and second value is what? 20, and third value is what? None. Fourth value is what? 30. Fifth value is what? NaN. Sixth value is what? Na. So it will return the false if the values exist. It will return the false if the value is what? Exists. But it will return the true if the value is what? Missing. It will return the true if the value is missing. So this is how you find out is it missing values are exist or not. By using a method called which one? Is null. So the first method is null. But this return Boolean series. It return the Boolean series if you are applying it as on series. If you are applying it as on series. So there is one more function, and what is the next function or method is not null. Hmm. So there is a not null. What is the next function is not null is not null. So this function name is not null. So what is null is returning Boolean values. What is null is returning Boolean values. It is returning true if the values not null is null. If it is available, if it is a null, it returns true. It is not a null, then it returns what? False. But when it comes to this not a null function, not a null function, here not a null function returns. This also returns which value? Boolean value. This also returns a Boolean value. Now that value can be either true or false. This is also written Boolean value. That value can be either true or what? False. That is a not null. But what will happen when you work with this not null? This will return. It is reverse here. Not null. Sorry. So not null function returns a Boolean value that can be either true or false. If it is a not null value, then it returns true. And if it is a null value, it returns false. That is a reverse. First one is null, right? Is null,
Yeah.
what it returns? If it is a null, then it returns what? True. If it is not a
Huh?
null, then it returns what? False. But not a null, what it returns? If it is a not a null, then it returns true.
कौन
If
जाने
it is a null, then
क्या
it
प्रोसेस
returns false. Just see it. So both functionality is same, but you can extract different types of data here. For example, here
ତମେ
I'm
ଦେଖିବ
taking
ସେ
one
ଟ୍ରାଭେଲ୍
series.
କଭର୍ ସେ ସର୍ଟନ୍ ଡିଷ୍ଟାନ୍ସରେ ସର୍ଟନ୍
Now
ଟାଇମ୍
assume that this is a
if the
series
one
with
third of
some
the distance
values.
is covered in the twice of the time.
Okay, this is a series with some values here,
ପଛରେ ଅଛି ବୁଲଉଛି
but some values are missing here. Now here I'm writing print s1 dot
ସେକେଣ୍ଡଟା
s1
କୁହ
dot. What is the name of the
ଆସ୍ତେ
method I'm
କହ
using? Not null.
ସେକେଣ୍ଡଟା କଥା କହ ୱାନ୍ ଥାର୍ଡ
I'm
ଅଫ୍ ଦ
using
ଟାଇମ୍
s1 dot. Okay, not null. So it is reverse here. True, true, and then false, true, false, and what is that? False. Now this I can use it as a Boolean masking to get which values? Not null values. I can use this as a Boolean masking
ତାପରେ
for
କଣ
getting which values?
ସେମ୍ ତ
Not null values. I'm writing S2 equal to S1 dot not null. So what is S2? Is a series which contain which values? Boolean values. And I can use these Boolean values to get which values? Not null values from the series. To get the not null values from the series, I'm writing S3 equal to S1 of S2. Now here I'm
ତାପରେ
using
କହ
S2
ୱାନ୍
as a
ୱାନ୍ ବାଇ
masking.
1/6
Now when you run this, print S3, now S3 contain only which values? Not null values. S3 contain only which values? Not null values. How many not null values are there? 3. That is 10, 20 and 30. But I'm using this series S2. What
ମାନେ
S2
ଏପଟେ
contain?
ଏପଟେ 6
Boolean
ଲେଖା ହେଇଛି
values.
6 କାହିଁ
What
ଲେଖା
S2
ହବ
contain? Boolean values. And I'm using this Boolean values
ତାପରେ
as what?
1/6
Condition.
ଲେଖିଦେବି ଆଁ
I'm using this Boolean values as what? Condition. Conditional masking. You'll say no conditional masking where if it is a true, it
ନମ୍ବର
returns that
ଆନ୍ସର
value.
ଯୋଉ 2
If it is a
ମାର୍କିଂ
false, that
ପଚାରୁଛି
value is not written. If it is a true, that value is written. If it is a false, that value is not
କେମିତି ବାହାର କରୁଛୁ ତୋର
written.
ଫାଇନାଲ ରେସିଓ
Right?
କେତେ
So
ବାହାରିଲା
you can print
1
this.
is to
Print S2.
1/6
If you print S2, now you can
1/6 ରେ
see
କେତେ
the value written is, see here, what is the value is written is 10 is a value, not null value, true, and 20 is a not null value, true,
ଡାଇରେକ୍ଟ ଏମିତି
and
କହିକି
none is a null
କେତେ
value, it
ଜଣଙ୍କର
is written
ରହୁଛି ନମ୍ବର
false, and 30 is a not null value, it is written true,
ଆଁ
and NaN is a not null value, it is written false, and Na is also
କେମିତି
null values, it is written what? False. Then when I'm applying
ଆଚ୍ଛା
this, when
ମତେ
I'm
କହ
applying
କେମିତି
this
ବଡ
on the
1/4
series,
ବଡ ନା
if I'm
1/6
writing
ବଡ
S1 of S2,
1 by 4
If I'm
अरे
applying
1 by
this
4 ର
S1 of
ଯେତେବେଳେ ତୁ
S2,
4 ଗୁଣିକୁ
this is
1
called as
କରିଦଉଛୁ
Boolean masking or
ତାହେଲେ
conditional
1 by
masking
6
or
ରେ
not?
6 କାଇଁ କରୁଛୁ?
Yes. So what will happen in this case? It will return only it will return only the value which returns what here? True. It returns the value which is what? True. So is it this condition is a true or false? True. Then what is the value it is written
ତୁ
here?
କହ
10.
ତୁ କହ
Is it this condition is a true or false? True. What is the value it is written? 20. Is it this condition is a true or false? False. Is it this value is written?
ଏପଟେ
No.
ଗୁଣାଙ୍କ 3 ଏପଟେ
That is
ଗୁଣାଙ୍କ
nothing but
3
reading based on the condition. Reading the data from the series based on the condition, right? But for which it returns true,
ଗୋଟେ
that
ଜିନିଷ
value is
ଶୁଣିବେ
written, otherwise it doesn't return the value. So it is quite opposite of which one is null. Okay.
ଗୋଟେ
So not a null function returns Boolean values that is true or false. If value is not null, if value is not null, it returns which value? True. If value is null, it returns what? False. If value is not null, it returns true. If value is null, if value is null, it returns false. Now see here, this is an example here. I'm using this series as a masking to get the values. Yeah, these are the values you have here. See, for example, see here. Suppose, okay, assume that,
ଆନ୍ସର ହବ 6:1 ହବ
for example, there is one series. See here, pandas dot series. Now there is a series contain lot of values here. So there is a number of values exist in what here? Series. So how many values are there in this series? Some 12 values are there. But I want to
ପକେଇଲେ
extract
ବୁଝିକି
even
ପକେଇବାକୁ ପଡିବ
numbers. What I want to do, I want to extract even
ଜାଣିଲୁ
numbers, or I want to extract the
କେତେ
numbers which
କେମିତି
are
ପକେଇଲୁ
greater than some 8.
ପକେଇଲୁ 6:1 ଆସୁଛି
I want to extract the numbers which are greater than what? 8. What do you do it? Yesterday we have seen, right? What is that? B equal to A of
କୋଶ୍ଚିନ୍ର
or A dot.
ଅର୍ଡ଼ର ଭୁଲ
What do you
କରିଦେଇଛୁ
give?
already
Where? So where, what is the condition is?
କ'ଣ
A is greater than, A is greater than what? 8. Where A is greater than 8. So what this returns? What it returns? Okay, it is written the series. It is written the series which contain which values? Which values?
ଆ ଦେହରେ
A is greater than, it written the series which contain which values? The values which are greater than which one? 8. But is it these values are written as what here? NaN. What is the meaning of this NaN here? This value doesn't satisfy this condition or not? Yes. It means these values are missing or not? Yes. Then I want to retrieve only the values which are greater than what? 8. I want to retrieve only the values
କେଇ
which are
ନମ୍ବର
greater than what? 8. Then what do you do
6
it?
ନମ୍ବର
You will try to say C equal to B dot. B dot, what is that? Is not, is not null. If I'm writing not null. See, B dot is not null. What not null is doing? What not null is doing? It is returning one Boolean series which contain true and false.
6:1
What is that true is? The true returns when? If it is a not a null value. When it is written false, if it is a null value.
ହ୍ୟାଲୋ
If it is a null value, it returns true. If it is not a null value, it is
6:1 ବା
written. If it is null, not a null value, it is written true. If it is a null
6:1
value, it returns what?
listen
False. But I want to retrieve only which values? 9, 10, 11, and what? 12. Then what will I do? B A of A of A of, I'm saying B dot A of B dot not null. This what it returns? If I'm saying A of B dot not null, what it returns? Only the values which are greater than what? 8.
It
Only the
returns
values which are greater than 8. If I'm saying print C,
returns
you can
value
see only the values
first time
which are greater than 8.
1
9, 10, 11, and what is that?
time
12.
1/3 one kete
Because when you are using a where condition, when you are using a where condition,
30
if the value which is read from the
3
series,
by
if
2
it doesn't satisfy this condition,
a1
what is the value it is written? NaN. This NaN indicates which
3 by
value?
2
Missing value in this case, because it doesn't satisfy this
12
condition.
by 2
But I want to read only the
8
values
by
which are
3
greater than what? 8.
by
Then I can write simply,
3
okay, D equal to A of A of what I'm writing it? A of A dot where. Okay, where A is greater than
here
8. Where A is greater than 8, this return one series. Okay, this return one series here. This returns one series
କେତେ ନମ୍ବର
dot
କୋଉଟା କହୁଛୁ ବା
dot what is that?
କେତେ
Not
ନମ୍ବର
null.
କହୁଛୁ
Dot which one? Not null. Not null method I'm invoking it. So here I've written everything in one. Means first it is returning one series, and from that it is returning only which values? Not null value. Identifying not null values. If it is a true, it returns the values. False doesn't return the values. So you can write in one statement here. So instead of writing multiple here, so what is the values written? 9, 10, 11, and 12.
3 by 2 is to
So
4
in this
by 3
case, you can go for not null. Getting honors when you are using what is that condition is
କେତେ
where.
ଯୋଉ ସେକେଣ୍ଡ ଟା
When you are
ପଚାରୁଛୁ
using the condition called where.
2x by 3 by t
But same
ହଁ
thing, you can do it.
2x
Can I write it? Tell me
x
E
by
equal to
4 by
A of,
x
okay, A
value
of
କେତେ
A
ଥିଲା
greater than, A of A greater than 8. Can I write like this? E equal to A of A greater than 8.
ଆର ବେଶୀ ବାହାରିବ x
We have
କଟିଗଲା
done this
5
with NumPy.
ଏପଟେ ହେଇଗଲା
In
1
NumPy we did this or not?
ଏପଟେ ହେଇଗଲା
Yes.
2 by
I
3
said here A of A greater than 8. A of A greater than 8, and I'm trying to say print E. Means will it retrieve the values which are greater than 8 or not? Yes. Now if I run this code, you can see 9, 10, 11, and what is that? 12. So the way how you are doing in NumPy, the same thing you can apply here. If I'm writing A of A greater than 8, what it returns? Okay, it returns the values which are greater than what?
ଏପଟେ ଦିଟା
8. So
ଦେଖୁଛି x
internally it is
equal to
doing,
2 is
it
to
is
1 ଏଇଟା
finding
3
all
is
the
to
values which are greater than what?
ଇଏ
8.
କେମିତି ବାହାର କରୁଛି
So you can write like this also. Now if you want to read the values f equal to a of a mod 2 double equal to what? 0. This returns the values which are which numbers? Even numbers. This returns only which numbers? Even numbers. Here 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. You want to read only odd numbers. I can write a of a mod 2 is not equal to what here? 0. The way how you are doing in NumPy, the same thing you can do in series
ଏକ୍ସେଲରେ ଏମିତି
also. See
କରିଦେଲେ
here,
କ'ଣ
it
କହିଲୁ
returns
x
only which numbers?
x
Odd
ଏମିତି
numbers.
ଏ ଯୋଉ ଅଛି ହଁ
You can use where
ଏପଟେ
condition.
ହେଇଗଲା
You
ଉପର
can use
ହେଇଗଲା
what?
ହେଉଛି କ'ଣ
Where condition. You can use where
ଏପଟେ
condition. But
ହେଇଗଲା
what where is
ତଳେ
returning?
ହେଇଗଲା 2x by
What where
3
it is
by
returning? It is returning only the values which
ଏପଟେ
satisfy
ହେଇଗଲା
what?
y କଟିଗଲା
Condition. But the
ଉପରେ ହେଇଗଲା
value
2
which
x
doesn't satisfy
ତାପରେ
the
ତଳେ ଗୋଟେ
condition,
y ଅଛି
what is the value it is
ଉପରେ ଏଇଟା
written?
କ'ଣ ହବ ତଳେ
NaN.
ଯୋଉ ହର
What is
ହବ
the
ସେଇଟା
value it
ହବ
is written?
ଏଟା ହେଇଗଲା 3
NaN. But I want to
ଉପରେ
return only the values.
3
You
by
can
3
directly
ଏତେ
give the
ପକେଇଲେ 3
condition as a
ରେସିପ୍ରୋକାଲ ତାର
subscript. Within the
ପ୍ଲସ୍ 3
subscript,
ହେଉଛି
you
ପ୍ଲସ୍
can
3
write directly the condition. I said here A mod 2 is not equal to 0. A mod 2 equal to what? 0. Yes. See, there are different approaches of reading the data from series. There are different approaches of reading the data from series. Okay. Now this is how you find not null values. by using a method called not null. By using the method called
ଦେଖିବା ତାହେଲେ
not null. Yeah, see here. You understood is null. What is null returns? Boolean values. Not null also returns
ହ୍ୟାଲୋ
Boolean values. But is null returns?
ଦେଖୁନ
If it is a
ମତେ
null, it returns true. It is not a null, returns false. Not null, what it returns?
ଟ୍ରୁ କଲର
If
ଦିଏ
it is not null, returns true. If it is null, it returns
ଯୋଉ
false.
ପ୍ରୋଗ୍ରାମରେ
Opposite. It is what here? Opposite. Right? There is one more function. What is that function is? Drop NA. So there is one more function called drop NA.
ଡି ଡି କଟିଗଲା ଟି ଟି
So
କଟିଗଲା
drop is nothing but
ଏଫ୍ ଟି
deleting.
ହେଲା
So dropping is nothing but what here? Deleting it.
କଟିଗଲା
Okay. So what values you are deleting? Null values are missing values. What values you are deleting? Null values are what? Missing values.
କଣ ବୁଝିପାରୁନୁ ତା
So
ଦେହରେ କହ
drop NA is a function or
ମୁଁ ତୋତେ
method.
ସ୍କ୍ରିନଶଟ ଦେଲି
It
ସେଇଆକୁ
is a
ଦେଖୁଥିଲା ତୁ
function
ପୁଣି
or
ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ
method
କଣ
of
ପାଇଁ ଦେଖୁଛୁ
which object here?
କଣ
Series
ତା ଦେହରେ
or
ବାହାରୁଛି
data
ଦେଖ
frame
ଦେଖ
object. You can apply this on both the data structures. You can apply
ପୁଣି ଏକ୍ସ
this
ବାଇ ୱାନ୍
on
ତା ଦେହରେ କୋଉଠି
series.
ଅଛି ମତେ
You
ଦେଖେଇବୁ
can apply this on what? Data frame. You can apply this
ପୁଣି
on
ସେଇଟା ଆଗ
series.
ଶିଖ
You can
ତାପରେ
apply
ସେପଟେ
this on
ପଢିବୁ
what? Data frame. Both you can apply it. Drop NA
ସବୁ
is
ଜିନିଷ
nothing
ନା
but
ଭୁଲ ଭାଲ
removing.
ପ୍ରୋସେସ କରୁଛି ମାନେ
This
ଖାଲି ଘାଣ୍ଟି ହେଲା
function
ଭଳିଆ
or this
କହିଦବ
method is
ତୁ
used.
ଯୋଉଟା ଦେଲି ସେଟା ବୁଝି
This
ସାରିଲୁଣୁ
method is
ତାପରେ
used
ଏକ୍ସ ଜାଗାରେ
to
ଟି
remove
ପକେଇବୁ ଯୋଉ ଏକ୍ସ
or
ଜାଗାରେ ଟି
delete.
ଜାଗାରେ ଟି ଏକ୍ସ
To
ପକେଇବୁ
remove
ଟି
or
ଜାଗାରେ ୱାଇ
delete.
ପକେଇବୁ
Okay, what is that here? Missing values. To remove or
ଟି ଟି
delete
କଟିଲା
missing
ବୁଝିପାରିଲୁ
values is done by using
ଟି
drop
ଟି କଟିଲା
NA.
ବୁଝିପାରିଲୁ
But what will
ଏବେ
happen when you're saying
ଏବେ
series?
ଉପରେ
What is
କେତେ
a
ଅଛି
series
1 ଅଛି
represent? A column
ତଳେ କେତେ
with
ଅଛି
multiple
2
rows
ଅଛି
or
କି
not? Yes. It
2
means the
ବାଇ 3
series which
ହଉଛି କଣ ହେଲା
contain
ତଳେ ଯୋଉଟା 2
the
ବାଇ 3
row which
କରାହେଇକି
contain
ଅଛି
the
ସେଇଟା
missing
ତ କଣ
value,
ଗୁଣା ହବ
that row get what? Deleted.
ଗୁଣା ମାନେ କଣ ହବ
The
ଯୋଉଟା
row
ଉପରେ
which
ଥିବ
contain
ସେଇଟା
the
ହେଇଯିବ
missing
ହର ହର
value,
ହେଇଯିବ
that row
ଇକ୍ୱାଲ
is
ହବ
what?
ତାହେଲେ 2 ବାଇ
Deleted.
3 ହଉଛି
If you apply
ଇକ୍ୱାଲ
this
ହବ
drop
ହର ଥିଲା
NA,
3
if you
ଏପଟେ
apply
ହର
this
ପଳେଇଲା
drop
2 ଲବ
NA
ପଳେଇଲା
on
ତଳକୁ
series,
ଆ ଦେହରେ
if
କଣ
drop
ବୁଝିପାରୁଛୁ
NA is applied on series, see, I said this can be applied on series, this can
ଯେତେବେଳେ
be applied on
ତଳେ
what?
ହରା ହେଇକି
Data
ଥିବ ପୂର୍ଣ୍ଣ
frame.
ସଂଖ୍ୟା
If you
ଉପରକୁ
apply
ଯେତେ
on
ଗୁଣା ହବ
data
ଗୁଣା
frame,
ହେଲେ ମାନେ କଣ
what
ହବ
data frame
ଅପୋଜିଟ
contain?
ହର ହର ହେଲେ
Rows
ହର
and
ଏଇଟା କଣ ଜାଣିଛୁ
columns. Now you can drop a column which contain the
ଆଉ
missing
ପୁଣି କଣ ତା
values.
ଦେହରେ ଅଛି
You can
ବୁଝିପାରୁଛୁ
drop a
ବୁଝିପାରୁନୁ
row which contain what? Missing values. If you are working with what? Data frame. But if you are
ହ୍ୟାଲୋ
working with the series is what? One column. One column represent
ହ୍ୟାଲୋ
multiple values. Multiple values are
ସେଇ
multiple
ପୁରା ହାଲୋ
rows.
ହାଲୋ କହୁଛୁ
If
ମାନେ
I'm saying
କଣ
drop
ତୁ
in
ଯଦି
A,
ବୁଝୁନୁ
by
ହବ କଣ
default it
ସେ
removes what? Row. Correct or not? Okay, it removes what? Row. Okay, generally it is used for dropping both rows and columns. So
ବୁଝିଲୁ ନା
if
ବୁଝିନୁ ମତେ
drop
କହୁନୁ
any
ତୁ
method, see here, drop any method actually, drop any method remove rows and columns, rows or columns,
ନା
rows
ତୁ
or
ଏଇଟା ବୁଝନା
columns
ଏମିତି
which
କର ଯେତେବେଳେ
contains, which
ଏମିତି
contains which
ବାହାରୁଛି
values?
ଫାଷ୍ଟ ଦିଟା ଆକ
Missing
ସେମିତି ବାହାର
values.
କରିଦବୁ ତାପରେ ତା ରେସିଓ ଏମିତି ବାହାର କରିବୁ
But if you are applying on series, okay, it will remove the row.
କିଏ କାହିଁ ଭୁଲ ବାହାରିବ କରୁନୁ ଏମିତି କେତେ ବାହାରୁଛି ଦେଖ କଣ କୋଉଟା ମୁଁ କହିଲି ଭୁଲ
For example, see here.
କୋଉ ପ୍ରୋସେସ କହିଥିଲି ମୁଁ
For example, see here. I'm writing pandas dot series. So there is a
ମୁଁ
10
କହିଲି ଭୁଲ
and none and 20 np dot
ଉତ୍ତର ପଚାର
nan and there is a 30 and there is a 40 and there is a pandas dot na.
ହଉ ଏବେ କର ଏଇ ଆଉ
Yeah, this is one series which contain 1, 2, 3, 4, some number of values. So
ହଉ
total 7 values are there.
କର ଏମିତିଆ କର ଆଉ
I'm writing B equal to A dot, B equal to A dot. I'm using drop NA. I'm using what here? Drop NA. And drop NA is having which one? Access. But here I'm not defining any access because it is a series. Okay, now you can see 10, 20, 30, and what is that? 40. And remaining values are dropped or not? Yes. But this returns a new series. This returns what? New series. But if you want to do changes in the same series, then you'll say A dot drop NA in place. You are writing in place. You are writing in place equal to what here? True. You are writing in place equal to true. If you don't write in place, then it returns a new series. Okay, it returns a new series by removing which values? Missing values. But if you want to remove from the same series, then use one keyword argument called in place. And the value of in place is given true. Now the modification in done is same series or different series? Same series. So for that, you are trying to use in place. If you don't write in place, it will return the new series without missing values. It will return the new series without missing values. And if you want to do changes in the same series, then write in place equal to true. Okay, right? So this is removing the missing values. This is removing missing values is done by using which one? Drop NA. Drop NA. So your in place keyword argument in place. So in place keyword argument is used to remove values to remove values. In place keyword argument is true. In place keyword argument is true. It remove values. It remove values from. It remove null values. It remove null values or missing values from same series. Same series. When if in place keyword argument is a true. If in place keyword argument is true. If in place keyword argument is false. If in place keyword argument is false, it create new series. It create new series by copying other values except the missing values. Except what here? Missing values. So it will create one new series, but changes will not be done in the same. Yes. Now this is how you drop it. So dropping is done by using a method called what? Drop NA. Then next one is fill NA. There is one more method or function is there. And what is the name of the function is fill NA. Fill NA. So fill NA is a method. So which is used to fill missing values to fill missing values with given value. To fill missing values with given value. And based on the application, you fill this missing value with some value. That can be either mean, that can be either mode, or that can be either median, any value that is based on the type of application you are developing it, the type of statistical operation you are performing it. Based on that, you try to fill with a specific value. That is done by using which method? Fill NA. Fill NA.
Hello.
For example, now already we created one series.
କରନ୍ତୁ।
So we created series here. Now this is a series which contain the number of values. Now I'm writing here B equal to A dot. So B equal to A dot. I'm saying fill NA. So fill NA, and here you have to define the value. And this value can be anything, right? Suppose I want to fill this missing values with zeros. Then what will happen? It will try to create another series, fill missing values with what here? Zeros. It will fill this missing values with what? Zeros. Okay, any value you can give. I'm writing a C equal to A dot, fill in A. You can give the value by using which you want to fill it. Okay, just give the missing value. I mean, you want to replace with what value? I want to replace with a value called some value called 100. Means I want to replace this missing values with what? 100. Any value can give it. Suppose 100. Okay, 100. But it is given one warning, right? This is a warning. No problem. The future warning, don't casting a data type. Okay, right? Yes. Okay, right? Now to avoid this warning, you have to remove these warnings by setting pandas. Pandas configuration, you can do it. Now, if you want to replace the values in the same series, you want to replace with stringer, but actually your series is which type? Objective type. Because what is this NaN is? Actually, NaN, none, these are missing values. NaN is a float. Na is also float, but none is none. It means it is having multiple types of values or not? Yes. If it is having multiple types of values, it is taken as which type? Objective type. Now suppose you want to replace with which value? Suppose you want to replace with which value? String. Just I am writing here fill. Within double quotes I write 10. Or within double quotes I just write ABC. But your series is which type? Or your series is having which type of values? Integers. Your series is having which type of values? Integers. But you are trying to replace these values with what? String. What will you do like this? Okay, generally you perform arithmetic operations only on numbers, but can you do on strings? No, you never fill the data with what? Strings. Because generally, why you handle the missing values? Because you want to perform some statistical operations on the data. You cannot perform some statistical operations on missing values, then you may get incorrect result, or it might lead to logical errors. To avoid that, you try to replace that missing value with some other value, but not with a string. Okay, right? Yes. But you can replace with a string. But here I'm writing some 10, right? You can see the values are filled here. So that is done by using a method called fill NA. But if you want to fill in the same series, you will say fill NA. You are writing fill NA. Now here I'm writing a 0 comma in place. Again I'm writing in place equal to true. It means is the changes are done in the same series or new series? Same series. Until unless you don't write in place equal to true, it is written what? Another series by replacing that missing values with what? 0. But I don't want that to be written in another series. I want to do changes in what? Same series. Then you will write in place equal to what? True. If I am writing in place equal to true, now you can see the changes are done in the same series. You can see 10, 0, 20, 0, 30, 40 and what? 0. It means this data frame and series, this both are which data structures? Mutable or immutable? Mutable. Means after creating this series, after creating data frame, you can able to do what? Changes. After creating series, after creating data frame, you can able to do changes. So warnings can be avoided. Why it is giving warning? Because those downcasting is not available when you work with future versions. Is saying that okay, don't do the downcasting. You define the data type. Is saying that you define the data type, right? So here, whenever you create a series object, yes. Now these are the functions here. So these are the functions which are used for handling which values? Missing values. Now there are four functions are there. One is null, and second one is what? Not null, and third one is what? Drop any, and fourth one is what? Fill any. Okay, drop any, and one more is what? Fill any. Okay, right? So whenever you create a series, see here, whenever you create a series object, the series object is created. See, now this is handling the missing values. Now suppose I want to change. Now see here, next step is just see here. Data pre-processing consists of lot of things here. One is removing duplicate rows or columns. But here series means only one column. Series is what here? Only one column. And renaming columns are what is that? Rows. So renaming columns are rows. It's nothing but I want to change the renaming columns are rows. This is belongs to what? Data frame. So data frame consists of rows and columns. If you want to change the column name, you can change the column name. You can change what? A row access label, and changing the data types of which one? Columns. Changing the data types of columns. Now assume that I created series. Okay, assume that I created series, and after creating series, I want to change the data type. I want to change the access labels. I want to change the data type. I want to change what? Access labels. Then how can I change the data type? How can I change the access labels? See here, A equal to pandas dot A equal to pandas dot series. I'm creating a series with number of values. Suppose 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Now it will create a series of which type? Integer. It will create a series with which type? Integer. Now, whenever you create a series, the series is created with some properties. Series is created with some properties, or series is created with some attributes. Okay, series is created with some attributes. There is an attribute. I'm using which attribute? D type. See here, what is D type returns? What is D type returns? Data type. What D type returns? Data type. What is the data type is? Integer 64. What is the D type returns? Data type. Then A dot. Now there is an attribute. What is the name of this attribute? Index. And what is this index returns? Access level. Now index is generated from 0 to what? 1. Getting on it. Index. Now it is written one index. It is written one object. What is the object it is written? A range index. So whenever you create a series or whenever you create data frame, it is having some attributes. Attributes are nothing but what here? Properties. So there is a property called data type. There is a property called index. There is a property called a dot. What is the name of this I'm using? Data. Not data. So now there is a data type and there is one more which is called as what? Index. If I want to change the data type, can I change the data type by using an attribute called D type? I'm using a D type. Okay, D type equal to I'm just assigning the data type as okay, I'm using a float. I'm just using a float. Now when I run this, you can see float. Oh, setter. So it is, yes. Now see here, property data types here. What is the name of the attribute? D type. Of series object is not setter. Means this attribute is read only or modifiable. Read only. Means you can read it, but you cannot do what? Changes. You can read it, but you cannot do what? Changes. But I want to change the data type of which one? Series. I want to change the access labels of which one? Series. Can I change the access labels of series? Yes. Can I change the data type of series? Yes. That is what you do
ହ୍ୟାଲୋ
in pre-processing.
ବାହାରିଲା
You create a series with which type of values? Integer values. But I want to do some changes. What is the changes I want to do is, I want to change the data type. I want to
ୱାନ୍ ଷ୍ଟାର୍ ମାନେ କ'ଣ
rearrange.
କହିଲୁ
I want to rearrange or I want to give some access labels to
ଆଁ
what? Data. That is the part of which one?
ଟୋଟାଲ୍
Data
ଡିଷ୍ଟାନ୍ସ କେତେ ଅଛି
pre-processing. Now that is
ଗୋଟେ
done by
ସେକେଣ୍ଡ ଭିତରେ
using
ଡିଷ୍ଟାନ୍ସ କେତେ
some
ହବ
methods provided by series object. Yes. Up to this you
ଆଁ
understood, right? So missing values are done by using how many?
ଏକ୍ସ
See,
ୱାଇ ଜେଡ଼୍
parameter is at the time of creation.
ଏକ୍ସ
Parameter is
ଇଣ୍ଟିଜର୍ ୱାଇ
yours
ଏଟା
at the
ଇଣ୍ଟିଜର୍
time of creation. But after
ଏଇ
creation, I'm saying at the
ଏଇଟାକୁ
time of
ସିମ୍ପ୍ଲିଫାଏ କଲେ କେତେ
creation,
ହବ
at the time of creation, you are writing like this. At the time of creation, you are writing like this. Pandas dot series,
କେତେ ହବ
you are creating a series with some values. And here you are
ତାପରେ
using a
ସିକ୍ୱେରି
parameter. What is the name of the
ହେଲା
parameter?
ତାପରେ ତାଙ୍କର
Index. And
ଯୋଉ
here
ଫାଷ୍ଟ
I'm giving
ଡିରେକ୍ଟୋରି
index
ଲେଖୁଥିଲେ ଏଇଟା
labels or
ସେମିତି
access
ଲେଖିବ
labels by giving
ଏପଟ
a comma b
ଏକ୍ସ ଆଉ
comma
ୱାଇ
c.
ସବୁଠୁ ହେଲା କେତେ
A comma b
ସିକ୍ୱେରି
comma c. And then I said here print a.
ହଁ
When I say
ଏଇଟାକୁ କେତେ
print
ଥିଲା
a,
ଏଇଟାକୁ କେତେ ଥିଲା
what is the access label for 10 a? What is the access label of
ଏପଟେ
20
ୱାନ୍ ୱାନ୍ରେ ତଳେ
b?
ରହିଲା
What is the
ୱାନ୍
access label of 30 c?
ଉପରେ
Okay, in the
ଆସିଲେ
same way,
ମାନେ
I'm
ତଳେ ୱାନ୍
creating
ରାଇଟ୍
another
ଆସିଲେ ଉପରେ
series.
କ'ଣ ଯିବ
Pandas dot series. I'm creating a series with some 10 values. I create a series with 10 values. Assume that some of
ପୁରୁଣା
the
କୋଶ୍ଚିନ୍
values are
ଲଗେଇଥିବ ତ
missing.
ଖରାପ ହେଇଯିବ
Okay,
ଲାଷ୍ଟ
some of the values are missing here.
ତାହେଲେ
I
କେତେ
just
ହେଇଯିବ
write here 90. Okay, there is
ସିକ୍ସଟି
again
ବାଇ
none,
ସିକ୍ସ
and here I've written some 110.
ତାହେଲେ ଏପଟେ
Okay,
କେତେ
now
ହବ
this is a series which I created, but by default
ସିକ୍ସଟି
it
ୱାନ୍
gives a numeric index or not? Yes. So what is the numeric index starts at 0, 1, 0 to what here? 10, because total how many elements are there? 11 elements. I'm writing B dot
ସେକେଣ୍ଡ
drop
ୱାନ୍ ପ୍ଲସ୍ ୱାନ୍
NA.
ଇଜ୍ ଟୁ ଟୁ
What is it? B dot drop NA. What drop NA is doing? Or what drop NA is doing? Removing which values? Missing values. Removing missing values, and I'm writing in place. in place equal to true. In place equal to true. When I say in place equal to true, what will happen? It will do the changes in the same series or new series? Same series. It is do the changes in same series, and you can see what is that mistake? In place. In place. Run the code. In place I said. Now is it values are deleted or not? Yes. But now you can see the indexes.
Google କେତେ
What
ଆଉଛି?
is the index is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then what? 8, and then what? 10. Getting or not? So because it is deleted values, it is deleted values. After deleting the values, is it this reindex? Is it indexes are rearranged or not rearranged? Not rearranged.
ତାହେଲେ ତ ସେତେ
Then what will happen when you are reading it by using index? You will assume that how many values are there in this
ସେତେ ଏତେ
series? How many values are there in this series? How many
ତାହେଲେ
values are there? 10 values, huh? No. Okay, 1, 2, 3,
ସେତେ
4,
ଆପଣଙ୍କର
5,
ଭୁଲ
6,
ଲାଗିବ
7, 8,
ଦେଖିକି
9.
ଦେଖ
Okay, 10 values are there, but 2 values are
ଆପଣ ଟିକେ
deleted.
ଦେଖନ୍ତୁ
But
ବୁଝି
the index starts at what here? 0. 0 to 9.
ସବୁ
Index should be what? 0 to 9. But what is the index? Is 0 to 10. But certain indexes are missing or not? Yes. Then what you have to do? You have to rearrange the index or not? Yes. If you don't rearrange the index, that might lead to a logical errors when you're trying to read the data using what? Index. When you're trying to manipulate the data using what? Index.
ସବୁ ଠିକ୍ ଧରୁନି ତ
When you're manipulating the data
ଟେକ୍ନିକାଲ
using
ଜିନିଷ
what?
ପ୍ରାୟ ଠିକ୍ ଧରିଦେସି
Index. Okay.
ଚାଟ୍
Now
ଜିପିଟି
you have to
ଆନ୍ସର
reset
କହୁଛନ୍ତି
the
ଚାଟ୍
index.
ଜିପିଟି ଆନ୍ସର
Then,
କହୁଛି
yes,
ନାହିଁ
I
ଯେ
think you
ଆମର
understood why
ଯେକୌଣସି
we have to
ୱେବସାଇଟ୍
go
ହଉ
for
ଯେକୌଣସି ୱେବ୍ ବ୍ରାଉଜର ହଉ
changing the
ଆନ୍ସର ସବୁ
index,
ଦବ ଆପଣ ଚାଟ୍ ଜିପିଟି ଆନ୍ସର
rearranging the
ଦେଇଦିଅ କିଛି
indexes, or rearranging which one? Access labels. If you don't rearrange the access labels or indexes, that might lead to which error? Logical error. So compulsory, you have to reset
ଓହୋ
this
ଆଚ୍ଛା ତାହେଲେ
indexes.
ସେମିତି କର
That is a second step which is there as a part of data pre-processing. That is a second step as a part of data
ହଉ
pre-processing. That is changing data types, and then what do you call it as uh, handling which one? Indexes. That we'll see. Not today because it will take some time. So tomorrow I'll tell you all these things. Right? Yes. How to handle the duplicate values and all the things. Right. On the class on the class on the